Hello everybody, Craig Peterson here. We're going to talk a little bit about cryptocurrency right now. Facebook was trying to get into the market and basically everybody's bailed on them, so we're going to talk about that and a little bit about Bitcoin and what are the real advantages? What are these guys and gals that are trying to bring the cryptocurrencies to market? What's really behind them and motivating them? I know a number of people who have these cryptocurrencies that they're trying to sell, and they're just in it for the money, frankly. Oh yeah, it's great. And there are all of these initial coin offerings, you might have seen them, these ICOs that are out there that are where people are saying, yeah, we're the one to go with, buy ours. And of course, Bitcoin, and looking back at the history of Bitcoin, how it came to be, and it was a total farce. They were just nasty. They were driving up the value of Bitcoin on purpose. They were buying thousands of them and then selling them and buying them back and forth and losing money to try and drive up the value of this cryptocurrency. Now, a cryptocurrency, it's kind of like a US dollar bill, for instance. Remember, it used to be we're on the gold standard, and the dollar bill, in fact, all of our currency said that it was redeemable in gold, and then they said redeemable in silver, and now they don't claim either. They just say that, well, it's good for all debts, public and private. Well, people accepted the currency back in the day because they could take it and go to the treasury and get gold or silver. But then it became just so common that everybody basically accepted it. It's fine, it's great, yeah, let's use it. And off they go. What's it worth today? What's a dollar bill worth? Well, obviously there's been inflation, but it's only worth what people will accept it for. Isn't that the bottom line? It's not worth much, right? That piece of paper probably isn't even worth a penny. It's made out of scrap cotton is what it's made out of. So it's really not worth very much money. So how then do we value something like the dollar? Well, we value it because we all agree what it's worth, and that 6 of those dollars will buy you a couple of moderately expensive coffee. I guess there's coffee that's like $200 a cup, but anyways, that's why it's worth what it's worth. So how about a cryptocurrency? All a cryptocurrency is a number, basically. And that number has been, quote, mined, unquote. And the way it was mined is it just had a computer looking for this special type of a number. And it's using massive prime numbers and things in order to compute them. So it's worth what people say it's worth. And it has been worth as much as, I think it hit $20,000 per Bitcoin. Now, there's many other types of cryptocurrencies, but Bitcoin is what you're most likely to know and understand. But there are other types of currencies that are out there right now that are these cryptocurrencies. And I think Bitcoin, last I checked, was worth, about $8,000, $7,000 per Bitcoin. What has driven up the value of Bitcoin dramatically is actually ransomware, because that's what people have been using to pay the ransoms. And that's part of the beauty of cryptocurrencies. This is why I was actually excited about Facebook's Libra currency. Now, I don't like Facebook. I don't like Zuckerberg. I don't like all of the allegations surrounding how he cheated the twins out of their money and in the investments, and the things he's done where he's been lying to Congress and lying to users. And, I don't like the man. Bottom line. However, this type of currency could change the world. If we had a cryptocurrency that was commonly accepted by governments and that was backed by large financial institutions, well, then we really got something, don't we? Here's what happened. Facebook announced this Libra cryptocurrency that they were going to come out with, and that was supposedly sometime 2020. And you had PayPal jump on board, MasterCard, Visa, eBay, Stripe, Mercado. They were all on board. So the idea was they would set a par value for this Libra cryptocurrency, And they would probably offer it kind of like an IPO. People would buy this currency. That currency would then be available for people to generally use. And Facebook would kind of be the clearinghouse, the bank, if you will, for these transactions. And then the transactions would go through on the back end to these companies I mentioned. So you could go onto eBay and you could buy things on eBay using your Libra cryptocurrency. Now, all of these cryptocurrencies ultimately are trackable. The Secret Service has tracked down people. That's how they arrested the guy that was running the whole Silk Road on the dark web using Tor that we talked about last time, right? So cryptocurrencies are not entirely private. In fact, if they wanted them to be, they could be entirely tracked. So why was I so excited? Well, I was excited because now I could sell something to someone in Timbuktu in northern Africa, and I wouldn't have to worry about the currency exchange. I wouldn't have to worry about any of that stuff. I could sell things to people in Europe. I wouldn't have to worry about, gee, am I taking a pound sterling versus a euro versus what, right? The Russian ruble, what, the Chinese currencies, whatever in the world. I'm just saying, yeah, it's 2 Libra. And now those people in those countries that don't have access to a banking system like we do, where I could take a Philippine peso or a Mexican peso or whatever currency I want to, I can do that because I have good banks here in the U.S. But people overseas, people in Africa, people in these smaller nations don't have access to it. But if they had access to something like the Libra that was accepted worldwide, the value of which was well known and well established, then we could really do something. That's why I was so excited. So this last week, PayPal came out and said, no, we're second thought, no Libra for us. MasterCard then came out and said, we're not going to be involved with the Libra. Visa came out after MasterCard and said, no way. We have eBay coming out. Stripe came out. Mercado. All of them came out and said, no, we are not going to accept the Libra. So it's a shame, but that's kind of where it stands right now. On this last Monday, there was a bunch of very non-optimistic news about all of this. A good article on this, by the way, over at Naked Security. So it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Well, the reason that it's not going to happen, apparently, is that there's a lot of pushback by a lot of governments because they're worried about regulations, being able to track the flow of money, just like in the U.S., where you can't have $10,000 or more cash transactions, et cetera, right? Global stable coins, it's absolutely crazy. France has also rejected Libra. The G7 draft report said, no, we're not going to do it. The FSB said the same thing over in Russia. The BBC was reporting the same thing. So now there is only one firm left that says that they would work with the Libra. It's a Dutch firm. It's called PayU. And apparently the BBC tried to reach out to them, and they hadn't responded as of the time this article was written. So it's a shame, but it looks like Libra is dead, and it's mostly due to governments who were upset that they wouldn't be able to track transactions the way they wanted to, that they couldn't tax them. Now, we know in the U.S. and some other countries, the tax man is coming after all kinds of virtual stuff. If you own virtual properties in some of these online communities that aren't real, you have to pay taxes on that as well. So, no surprise, I guess. Goodbye, Libra. We hardly knew thee. Next up, we're going to talk about iOS jailbreaking and some problems people have been running into, serious problems. You're listening to Craig Peterson on WGAN and online, craigpeterson.com.